You're welcome. This is my class project. It is covering issues to do with working memory and strategies to use in a classroom. My title is Setting Up a Classroom for Individuals with Learning, Emotional and Intellectual Disabilities. My name is Muyunga Mkasitom Rogers, and this is a course that is titled Issues in Educating Individuals with Learning, Emotional and Intellectual Disabilities, also known as PAID 6238, under Professor Kelly. Now, remember I talked about working memory issues and working memory strategies. One of my students is known as DV and is 9-year-old. DV is a neurodivergent learner who can benefit from supervision and supports to catalyze thinking, transform thoughts into agency, to engage in day-to-day activities and behavior leveraging action, leading to educational outputs. Now, before I show you how I set up my classroom, I also want you to know that we are grounded in theories, and one of the evidence-based theories is Brown's model. And according to Brown's model, the classroom setting, the teacher, parents, and peers act as the conductor to foster or spark action, that is the activation stage or phase, to spur or inspire concentration on a given task, that is the focus stage, to deploy the necessary energy, that is putting in effort, acknowledge the different anxieties raised by developing events, that is understanding that people can get into emotional states that may or may not divert them from the tasks at hand, and providing context, leveraging one's ability of the brain to encode, store, and retrieve information, that is the memory, and direction to achieve goals. Basically, Brown's model breaks down the different phases and sequence of events from stimulus to action. Now, the next model that I use and as a basis for setting up my class is Barclay's model. And according to Barclay's, the classroom setting, the teacher, the parents, and peers have roles they contribute to a student's education goals. The setting should support self-regulation, which influences goal-oriented behavior derived from tapping into one's working memory, reflecting and relating to self-talk or speech, self-regulation of affect, motivation, arousal, and reconstitution, that is planning and the power to generate things. These two models show us that individuals have in them the potential to engage in activities inspired or sparked by different stimuli. But whereas Brown's model shows us that there are a sequence of events that can be inspired by an event, Barclay's model also goes further and encourages the teacher or the peers to allow the student to reflect on what is happening, as well as to self-regulate using some of the skills like self-talk or reading visuals that can help them stay on task. Now, these are some of the examples of the visuals that I'm using in my class or that are pinned up on the walls. The first one is a visual for behavior supports. For instance, it says, and it has a statement of action, like this one has: at my desk, I will stay quiet, I will raise my hand, I shall concentrate on my work. Then another visual is the one that talks about the daily routine, but breaks down the time schedules or schedule for different activities. And this very visual tool can be used at home or in the kitchen or even for sports. It is expansive and can be applied in different scenarios, but in this case it is known as the kids daily routine visual. Then when it comes to issues, and this borrows from Barclay's model, when it comes to issues of being upset, the learner DV knows where to go what to use, the breaks to do, to engage in when DV is upset. For instance, when it comes to getting the teacher's attention, DV was told to raise an arm. When DV feels like there is need for a break, then DV was not told how to go, not showed what kind of interventions to use. Now, working memory issues of DV are slow processing in the form of taking time to act on instructions. Organization problems are in the form of not placing notebooks in lockers or leaving his personal note items at different areas. The last is time management problems, which include being off task and slow transitioning. And this is how each difficulty looks like in the class. Now, there are solutions that we came up with, and one of them is setting up the classroom and modifying teaching practices to promote accountability, provide a hands-on learning, inspire engagement in self-directed actions, rewards for staying on task, encourage group work, make time external, clarify structures, and prepare myself to understand underlying challenges every single day that I am in the class. The other is providing visual reminders in form of schedules, pin-up notes, desk organizers, bag context organizers, color-coded cues, sparring action, or switching tasks. Now, this is how I set up my classroom to address these issues. Other supports include modifying the teaching practices that I use to assist DV in understanding the challenges. For instance, reading out aloud, the agenda, setting expectations, breaking down tasks, using technology, providing awareness of transition, environmental modifications like closing the shutters when there's so much light so that we reduce on the different stimuli, use different means of instruction, making information visual, numeric, and word format, evaluate the child, evaluate DV constantly, and organize to prioritize strategies. Now, as we wrap up, we have highlighted the scenario, the learner's characteristics, the theories providing evidence for prescribed interventions, visual supports, staying on task, the visual support for keeping time external, visual support for brain breaks, working memory issues, we talked about them, and then the solutions and interventions. This is a report on how I would manage I would integrate working memory strategies that address DV's issues. Now, the reference for this is RIFE, How to Reach and Teach Children and Teens with ADD and ADH, Practical Techniques, Strategies and Interventions. I hope you'll be able to note the different strategies that I have laid down, that address the issues that DV faces, but at the same time, how DV also has initiative to address his own issues that are felt and how to go about engaging in the classroom. Thank you very much. Bye.